we're going to spend some time just walking through the status update that you have completed.
Yep.
And if you have any questions that you or issues that you want us to pay attention to, this is a good opportunity for that. The team will then ask questions for any clarification that they need. And when we get to the end, you can speak to what the next steps are if you need any additional supports or any adjustments or changes. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So looking at our status report, we had asked for support in the Standards Institute training, as well as teachers identifying and unpacking standards within our 90-day plan and the strategic scheduling consulting. From the response, I had a backup plan for that Standards Institute. One thing that I saw is getting teachers in front of the individuals from Unbound Ed was a big impact for a building at Gateway last year, but as well as people that had Unbound Ed training this summer really brought that back to the building and was leading that charge. So I had a backup plan for Standards Institute, so I'm using my CDE turnaround money to send our PLC leaders as well as 2 assistant principals to this training in February. So I had a backup plan on that. Within the unpacking standards and teachers reteaching intervention, we are getting a lot of support within our critical triangle meeting with Julia LeGrand and John Dumbleton, meeting with our teaching partners and really focused in on our literacy teachers. We have 7 brand new teachers to the building. 4 of them are in literacy. When I say brand new to the building, they're first-year teachers. And so our structured PLCs have really been around identifying and unpacking standards. And going into our critical triangle, we've had a lot of support from the district within Julia and John to move the ARC implementation forward. Our next step within that is our math department. I just met with Ken Jensen, my assistant principal that is over math, and we are implementing him as well as one member of his team. I can't remember her name. She is coming in to work with 2 of our new math teachers that are first-year teachers, as well as Ken's going to be working with our PLCs to really dive deep into the anticipation guide within our math standards. The next piece of that, I think some of our next steps we're going to need support on within the support we're already getting is really that reteach and how are we assessing that reteach and using that data to back that up. And the last part was that strategic scheduling consulting. Our first initial meeting, I really appreciate the support. We're meeting with ABLE tomorrow morning to look at the first scenarios that are coming across. And so we are going to be pulling a committee together in January, about 5 to 7 stakeholders within the building to see how we can implement more efficient planning time for teachers and having more efficient time for students as well in classes. So the biggest bang for buck right now within our PLCs is our 90-day plan. In our 90-day plan, we're just looking at to get that more support within our PLCs and the data talks. Hello?
Yeah, keep walking us through it.
All right. So within that, some of the pieces that we've seen from the critical triangle meeting, can you see my screen by any chance?
No?
No.
Just the status report is what we see.
Just the status report? Okay,
Right
so
now.
I'm going to go through our notes from our critical triangle meetings. So within our critical triangle meetings with Julia, we have really went through the NTC structure for our coaching and prioritized how we are coaching and giving feedback using Getting Better Faster. And this has been very supportive. And the NTC structure has really helped that. And our teachers are growing within that. The feedback that they're getting and the professional learning that they're getting within our building. So we had a professional learning around CLD instructional strategies. As soon as we did the CLD instructional strategy, we went to our UBD planning for our units and we looked at the big picture of what the units were asking for. Then we broke it back down into the day-to-day lesson planning. And that's when we implemented working through student discourse and really working through structured purposeful turn and talks. We have a professional learning that that's taking place here January 6th around focused note taking, as well as critical reading strategies that Avid is putting on. They're sending a facilitator to us January 6th. As soon as we get done with that professional learning in the morning, we're going into a structured planning time where our PLC leaders that we've identified within our implementation benchmarks, they are leading through their own PLCs with some tight expectations around what we're going to see within classrooms around the professional learning that we're giving. And so Julie is going to be a part of that planning purpose. So we're doing that with the ARC implementation in mind and using the framework, seeing where we can plug in these instructional strategies to make sure we're monitoring how students are really working through that learning objective tied to the standard and really tying that exit ticket and to see if they hit that learning objective for that day. So what I can say is we're within math and within science and social studies, Sam Duvey and Amanda Gould have been meeting with my assistant principal, Ann Ferris, with one thing within our schedule that I'm really looking to change up. We had half semesters of science and half semesters of social studies. That's a schedule we inherited. So we are really, they have to really work towards coming up with half semester plans. Now the kids are swapping. So we're looking to move into year-long science, year-long social studies going into next year. Within professional learning, what I can say is Julie and John, they're consistently here. They're consistently working with us in a positive way. Our teachers are responding to them. With our behavior systems and support, Christine Lavin Santos is working with our MTSS committee, and we got that grant. We have our South Strong values that we are implementing going into January, and we've identified within our MTSS process our non-negotiables that we have within the building are how do we really truly act as middle school students within the hallways, within the cafeteria, within assemblies, within as well as recess and different school events. And we are rolling that out as soon as we get back in January. So that's been a lot of work our MTSS team's been doing with Lavin Santos over this fall semester. As well as we are partnering with History Colorado. We have a meeting with them tomorrow for the Young Men of Color initiative. And that is coming about tomorrow morning where I have my restorative liaison, Ray Downing, will be our go-to person for that. And he will be, we're gonna be setting some tight expectations around who we're identifying for that, for the Young Men of Color initiative. All right.
All right. What else did you need to share with us? So for me, you can turn it down.
That's all I have right there.
Okay. All right. So specific around any next steps for us or for the team, do you all have any questions for Haran? Anything that you need for us to focus on as we get ready for second semester?
I think our biggest next step, and we took that this week, is getting our math support from Ken Jensen. And we're on the same page of what we're going to do. And we prioritized our teachers, prioritized our PLCs. And so I'm looking forward to see how we're going to progress monitor that within our PLCs. Going into our 90-day planning, that's going to be one of our implementation benchmarks is through math and what we're doing with our curriculum components in math and PSOC. And so that's one of the adjustments we're going to be making in our 90-day plan. So we'll probably have, when we go to UVA in January, we're going to be looking at to see how the PLCs are structured within math and PSOC. And I think Ken Jensen is going to help support that a lot.
All right, so if you would do me a favor and continue to update your status report as we circle back, that would be a great help for me and the team. And you have access to all these folks that are on the call. So anything that you need as we continue to progress forward, let us know.
There's one question I do have. Can I get the Standards Institute training that's at the top? Can we change that up? Because since we're sending that into, that's a request that we're going through our CDE funds, could we just focus in on our teachers identify, impact, and district prioritize standards in our strategic scheduling consulting?
I would suggest you go through Garrett for that, just to
Okay.
clarify what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Sounds good.
Does that work?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.